y'all, this is Uniquely Made Jessica. Welcome to my channel, and this channel is dedicated to eating and everything on a budget, whether it's fashion, beauty, lifestyle. If it's affordable, I'll try my best to find it. So if this is a channel for you, like, rate, subscribe. And lately I've been wanting to do more like book wrap-ups and everything like that. So today's video is going to be talking about all the books I read in July, and I did write them down so I won't forget. So if you want to see what books I read, please stay tuned. So the first book, I'm just going to be reading off my list right here. The first book I read for the month was Temper Me from Alexandria House. And this is the third book of the Romy University series. So pretty much it starts off with Brooklyn. And if you read the first two books like I did last month, she was the friend of Nadia and Charlotte. So pretty much she was the friend that had the really rich husband. I think he was a lot older than her. He was like close to her parents' age. He had to be like 20-something plus years older than her. So pretty much if you read the first two books, you'll see that, you know, she cheated on her husband and everything. And they got divorced. So she's pretty much trying to rebuild her life. So enters Van London, who is Charlotte's brother. So this is pretty much going to be like a second chance romance. They met when, you know, she was in college at Romy. He came down for like homecoming to visit Charlotte one year. They had like a little fling going on, and then, you know, they reconnect all these years later. So it's pretty much like a second chance romance, and I did really enjoy the story. And I think it also has like disability representation, because, you know, he does have like an illness and everything. So it talks about that, but I really did enjoy her story, how, you know, she fell in love with him again, he fell in love with her, despite all the things that happened with them in the past and everything like that. So I really did enjoy their story. The next book I read was Garden Kisses by Fallon West. And I think this is my first time reading something from this author. So pretty much it starts with a girl named Blossom. And she had just left an abusive relationship. Her best friend helped her escape this abusive relationship. So pretty much she moved to the town where her friend is from. And her friend has like some family members that own like a garden shop. So she starts working at this garden shop, and she meets her friend's cousin Lawson. So they pretty much, you know, hit it off, and Blossom is trying to heal from this abusive relationship, but still kind of scared that this abusive ex is going to come back and get some revenge and everything. So it was a cute, you know, little story. I do feel like she was in her head a lot throughout the book, but I mean, considering what she went through, it kind of makes sense. So that one was a good book as well. The third book I read, and I do like this author, and this is Lady Nisha, Lucid Dreams. So if you're familiar with her, she wrote Losing Control with Czar and Marley. So Lucid Dreams is a book. It's a thick one too, I think. So Lucid Dreams is pretty much about these twins, day and night. And they are literally day and night. Day's like the light skin, pretty boy and whatever. Night is a little rough around the edges. So it pretty much starts off when they're kids, and their father is like really abusive. He's an alcoholic and everything. So it was a night that changed the whole trajectory of their entire lives forever. So ever since then, they pretty much had to learn how to survive on the streets and everything. So fast forward, they're adults into, you know, this whole street stuff and everything like that. So both of them have their vices. Like both of them would just, you know, get high, get drunk, pop pills, do everything to escape what's going on in their heads and everything. But with Night, he meets a girl named Hunter, and Hunter has a kid and everything. She's already going through, you know, her own struggles and her own personal issues with her family and everything like that. So pretty much no matter how much Hunter does not want anything to do with Night, they can't help but to gravitate towards each other. And then, day and night are still dealing with their personal issues, their own personal demons, and everything like that. And whatever Lady Nisha writes, it's funny. Like, it could be some heavy stuff, but she gonna throw some humor up in there too. So I really enjoyed her book as well. So the next book that I read was Can I Join You? And it's a Why Choose romance by Kiaris Ashley. And I've been seeing people talk about this book in different like book groups, like on Facebook and everything. So pretty much it's a girl named Sanaya. She's kind of like struggling a little bit and she finds a job at this security company and she pretty much is the receptionist. So the two owners of this company, one of them name is Crew, and he's like really like cold, stern. You kind of think he's mean. And it's another one, the other owner's name is Kadeem, but he's more like the charming, nicer, I guess I'll say, of the two. So one day, while she's at work or when she's leaving work, she walks into their office, like the office that they shared or something like that, and she sees some things she probably wasn't supposed to see. So she walks in the office and everything. So they pretty much was like, you want to get down with us? And they pretty much have a relationship with like each other in a way. So that was pretty much the gist of the story. I will say, if you're not into Why Choose stories, you might not like it. And if you're not comfortable about reading a story with male doing that kind of stuff with other men and still fulfilling a woman, it might not be your judge. But it was a really interesting story because I've read Why Choose stories before, so it wasn't anything like too out of the ordinary for me. So it was interesting to say the least. And if you like really freaky erotica and stuff like that, get into it. So the next two books are both part of the same series. The first one is Caution and the second one is Clarity. Both are written by Christina C. Jones and is part of the Blackwood After Night series. So pretty much Caution is like between this girl named Ambrosia and Cassius Black. So pretty much I think in the second book, Ambrosia is mostly dealing with, I guess, like vampires and different other worldly things coming up to her. And she pretty much, her life is kind of in danger. So Cassius is pretty much trying to like protect her and everything. But if you read the series, Cassius is a vampire. So it's pretty much talking about, their story. And both of these are like novellas, like probably less than 100 pages. And the third book is Paris and Riv. And Paris, yeah, he's a vampire, but he wild. I think he's like the youngest of the three Black brothers. And Riv, her family is into like paranormal stuff. She has some other things. She's not just human either. So he pretty much talks about, their love story and how they got together and everything like that. Even though they wasn't really, I ain't gonna say they wasn't really feeling each other, but they weren't really trying to be tied down to each other. So the next book is a fairly new release. It just came out like a few weeks ago, and I read it on my Kindle, and I really enjoyed it. So I just went on and bought the physical copy. And this is going to be The Alchemy of Souls, the Sun series by Granger. And this is book 5 of the Drew Collins University series. And as you can see, it's a thick book, but I read it on Kindle first. And on the back of the book, it says, if this book has found you, it's already too late. Bodies lie buried beneath forgotten soil, vampires feed without restraint, and dragons roam once again. Return to this magical HBCU if you must, but no, nothing will ever be the same again. So pretty much it starts you off with the Kingdom of Khmer, if I remember correctly. And it's like something about the great sun, and there's also dragons involved and things of that nature. So pretty much where it really starts picking up, Princess Ayura, she's from this kingdom and she is royalty. Somehow she ends up at Drew Collins University. So once you get to Drew Collins University, there's a lot of things going on. They're pretty much trying to have propaganda against the first family, if you're familiar with the first family and everything like that. So it's just a lot of stuff going on, secrets coming out, members of the different members of the family being seen for the first time and everything. So I really did enjoy it. I will admit I kind of felt like I was slightly in a slump after I finished the book, and I am a Drew Collins girly. So I got this first book, got the second book. I want to get the third and the fourth one, but I want the independent covers, but I got a feeling that ain't going to happen. I got a feeling it's not going to happen because I think all of the books are supposed to be like starting to be traditionally released and everything, and hopefully you get a good gist of these reviews. I'm trying not to really spoil them, but I'm really trying to give y'all a gist of what the books are about. But anyway, I really did enjoy this one. It normally takes me about a week or so to read a book anyway, no matter how short or how long. It's just me and whatever, but this one was really one of those ones. And the next book after that is Summer in Dooley by Grace Huffington. But no, it says Grace Huffington, but it's Grace Huffington. So pretty much it's about this girl named Hyphen. And she's from the hood or whatever. She managed to meet this man. She's living a good life, soft life, everything like that. And they're supposed to get married. He comes home and she realizes he cheated on her. So she leaves. And she comes back to her hood, Dooley, with her best friend Saga. And pretty much they're on their hot girl summer type, stuff. They out here, they having fun. They like using dudes for like their money. They on their scamming type shit and everything like that. So she's living her, young and turnt life and whatever. So she's doing that, and then that's where Flacco comes in the picture, and he's like a regular degular, like not regular degular, he's a street dude and whatever, but he's been having his eye on Hyphen for years. So he's trying his best to pretty much be like, girl, I don't care what you talking about, you mine and everything. And she just like, man, I'ma do me. I'ma finesse these dudes. Man, get the fuck on. And whatever. But along the way, she really, starts feeling Flacco. So it pretty much just talks about, how their summer is in Dooley. Like, them spending time together and everything, vibing, and it turns to, something more. And the very last book I read for the month of July, and I literally just finished it yesterday. This is August 1st. I literally finished it yesterday. And it's called Watercolors by Evelyn Latrice. And this might, I don't know for sure, because I be reading authors, I really don't keep up with the names. This might be the first book I read of hers. And this book was so good. So good. I want to get the actual book. I'm like, okay, I was really into it. First of all, the cover is pretty. Anyway, so pretty much this story is about a girl named Lumi. Her real name is Luminous. So pretty much Lumi is just like, man, life for her ain't been no crystal stuff. So pretty much she's dealing with trauma and everything that, her family caused upon her and everything. And she's down and out. She done lost her job. She's about to get kicked out this apartment, this, that, and the third. Her grandma passes away, and her grandma leaves her a house. But the thing is, if she doesn't move to this house and stays there, she forfeits her inheritance. She's not able to get no money or anything like that. And she's like, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and go. So she goes ahead and moves to Land Beach. While she's there, there's a retired swimmer named Ashley Wave Reeves. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, I want to go to Waveland. Like, Wave was just so smooth with it though. And he's retired. He was a professional swimmer, and he's like trying to deal with retirement and everything. So he's at home taking care of business and everything like that. He finds out he has a daughter. Daughter literally gets dropped off at his doorstep and everything. So he has to navigate retiring from swimming. He wants to, do things in the community. And then he meets Luminous, and they, get to feeling each other. They get to meet each other and everything like that. And she's also a painter. So, everything in her life is just gray. It's gray, it's black, it's like, ugh. But she starts developing a relationship with Wave. She starts developing a relationship with his daughter, Ashley. And it's just a beautiful, love story. And it's not just a love story, strictly romance. It's like romance, sisterhood, girlhood, friendship. It's a lot. And the progress that Lumi made is just chef's kiss. I'm just like, girl, get that man. So I really, really enjoyed that book. And that book is like maybe 600 or something pages, I think. Some of the books I've been reading lately have been like thick ones, but the story, I'll just like, eat it up. So that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully y'all got a gist of how I felt about the books. Hopefully I tried my best to not really spoil it. I'll give a little details, but I ain't really trying to like spoil it. So if I did a good job with that, let me know. If I didn't, I'll work on that too. So let me know how you like these videos. Have you read some of these books? Have you not read some of them? I read most of them on Kindle. And if I really enjoy it like I did with this one, I'll buy the physical copy. So that's pretty much it. And I'm going to just get myself situated. Until next time, bye.